Welcome back, everybody. This is Eddie, and we're here for another episode of the Minecraft Let's Play. Today we're going to be finishing up our talk about PAX. I know it's been a couple days since PAX ended, so I want to finish it all up in this episode so that we can move on, but I had a lot of fun. And, yes, this is the state of the house, exactly the same as we left it. I just went recording right in today's episode after recording yesterday's episode, so the thoughts are all still fresh in my mind. I gathered some sand. This will turn into glass, but we need some lapis for light blue dye, as well as just general materials, because we still don't have a lot to our name right now. I thought I had iron. I did have iron armor. I actually think that I forgot to take it off when I went to. Yeah, that is what happened. I guess I'll just waste a bunch more iron and make more. I took it off because I went to go do some map making at the mall, and I lost it in the process because I do that in creative mode and stuff like that. So I guess I'm not gonna sleep here because maybe mobs that spawn on the surface will cut down on mobs that spawn out in the real world. So let's go head on down. I think there's more cave down here that I haven't explored. Oh yeah, I already see some. So, what to talk about next? We talked about the big games last time. Oop, that's dangerous near that lava. Don't be doing that to me, you jerk. Like Nosgoth, Star Citizen, Lichdom. Wildstar was another game that we didn't talk about, but it was getting a big push, and I didn't look at much at all because I don't really have an interest in MMORPGs. I do know someone who did work on, there it goes, who did work on Wildstar, so I do know a little bit about it. What else? Okay, so we're gonna start. We'll start with a game called. Start with the big one. Okay. I found a game pretty early on. It stood out to me as really cool. It is called Kingdoms Rise, and I suggest you go look it up. You might even hear more about it on this channel from me. And what I did, I talked to developers about it because it stood out as a cool game. It's very beautiful. It's a game where you play as a knight. And it's a multiplayer combat game, so everyone starts as a knight. And you fight, but you don't just fight with swords, and there's a cool sword fighting mechanics that are all, I think they're gonna get better, and they're already pretty darn good. It's one of those games where I'm not very good at it, and I can already tell that there's definitely different skill levels, right? Like, people wreck me every time. I don't know how, right? Like, I feel like I'm doing it right, but I can barely hold my own, and I actually like that. And the reason why I like that is because that means there's definitely a way to get good at it. It's not random, it's not based on who has a better ping, it's not who's got the better swords, because you've all got the same choice of weapons at this point. And they have these swords that have different modifiers on it, right? So all the swords do the same stuff, except when it comes to sword fighting, mostly, each sword kind of swings the same, each sword can block the same and stuff like that, but your sword has a modifier on it that affects something else. Like, one sword increases bow damage, one sword's better it has a boost when you're attacking from behind. One sword does more damage in general, and one sword reduces the damage you take, so it's sort of like that kind of a thing. It's almost like each sword is like a perk and not a completely unique weapon with different stats, which is kind of cool. But the big thing about it too is that there are also a number of really cool spells. Fireballs, AoE spells, teleport spells, spells that make you go invisible, healing spells, protection spells, all these other spells. I can't even remember them all. And they're very cool. And they're fun. They are fun to spice up the combat with. Push and pull spells. Very cool. Very, very awesome. Fun to play with. Make the combat very interesting. And they have a bunch of secondary weapons as well. Throwing axes, throwing knives, bows, traps, mines, all this other stuff. Very cool. And it seems like it's the kind of game that's constantly being updated to add more things. And I think that it could go a very similar route that Chivalry went, if you remember that game, which got pretty popular. I think it still is pretty popular, but but there's one difference, and that's that on the forums and for this Kingdom's Rise game, not Chivalry. Oh, there's Lapis and Diamond. Well, that's right. I ran through here. Yeah, on all these places and stuff. There keeps being this mention of creeps and lanes, and it almost seems like they're gonna to make it a little bit more MOBA-like, which I know people are like, oh, so many MOBAs coming out, and why does everyone want to jump on the MOBA bandwagon? But I think this is gonna be either or. I think there's gonna be team deathmatch and dueling and that kind of a thing, and there's going to be MOBAs, so you don't have to play it like that, and I can tell you that it's really fun without that aspect to it as well. But just having some sort of creeps and stuff like that. Also, it might not be MOBA, it might be more like creeps in a lane where you're fighting off waves of enemies, right? And not MOBA. So, yeah, the reason why I said I'm starting with the big one first is because I talked to the developers quite a bit. I mentioned this stream when I was sort of saying that I would totally stream this game. They were pretty excited to hear that and gave me a key to play so I could get going right away. I was probably going to buy it anyways, but now I don't have to, and I also have some extra keys that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with yet. But the only flaw that I have with the game right now is that there's not enough players. I have gone on the servers multiple times and been up against one person until they leave and then I'm alone, or sometimes I go on and there's no one, and then that's kind of annoying. Diamonds! Sometimes I go on and there's like 12 people and it's a huge fight and it's pretty awesome and it's like craziness. So the community is a little small, but the community is definitely really nice. I've had... Oh, did I lose a diamond there? I guess I did. Yeah, community's been nice to me, sort of telling me tips and tricks on maybe how I can improve my game and all that other stuff, so that's cool. But one thing that I wanted to do was I chose, this is a game I'm going to follow, this is a game I'm going to play, this is a game that I hope does really well, and so I think I might talk to the developers about possibly doing a little relationship with the YouTubes, and me doing patch notes videos as well as maybe some gameplay videos, and them posting it on their official website and blog and Facebook page and tweeting about it and all this other stuff. And I just have to sort of sort that out all the way, sort of by clearing with them. I'm going to show them some videos beforehand so they can know that it's up to their standards and I'm doing their game justice and all that other stuff. And yeah, so that might be to come, and that's one of the bigger games that was independent and small and I had never heard of before that I was really taken with because of the stunning visuals and the awesome combat together. Really cool. But let's move on. Let's not dedicate an entire episode to that game. Let's go, even though I could. Let's start with this really hilarious game called Noodle Arm Royale. It's made by the PHL Collective, I think, or maybe that's a collective of little developers, and it was one of the developers in it, maybe? I don't know, I'm not sure. I can tell you that the dev team for that game was so nice and super cool. And they had a couple other games as well. Working on some mobile stuff. A lot of developers working on mobile stuff on the side, which I'm not against. But I do sort of wish that if they were going to do it on mobile, they would also do it on PC, because then I can't like pick it up and make a YouTube video about it or anything like that. Wow, jeez. So, kind of sad there, but a lot of them did do that. A lot of them had mobile PC versions or even web browser versions of their mobile games, which is awesome. What next? Oh no, I didn't get to talk about it. It was made in a game jam, this Noodle Arm Royale. It was a Connect game, PC Connect game. So funny. Basically, there are two guys, I forget their names, they had some really silly names, I should have written them down, and there's one of them standing on either side of the screen, and they have these arms that are ragdolled and noodled. And as you flail your arms with the Kinect, your character flails his arms. And the game that they had was a slapping fighting game, where you would just slap, 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 and your arms didn't really correspond to the movement of the of your character's arms. It was just sort of more or less. So, you know, when you're walking past the booth, all you see is a bunch of fools flailing their arms in the then you have to look at the screen to see what it's doing, and it was very funny. It was a fighting game, and they said that they were planning on going through like a rotating mini-game style of thing, maybe a little bit like Mario Party mini-games, all with this same idea of noodle arms. And the example that the one guy gave that I really liked was like a fireman you're both firemen, you know, you're your same character, you got a little firefighter hat on, and your flailing noodle arms become fire hoses, and you have to flail your arms so that they point at the fires. And not just because, again, your arms don't sync up, right? It's like you flail, and that causes the player to flail. So you gotta flail in such a way that your arm sprays and puts out a fire. I hope that there's footage of this game online. Very cool to play. I actually do have Kinect, and it's possible. I think it was like the game was something like, I couldn't remember if they had a way to get it. I thought they had some sort of a like really cheap deal for you to get the game. And I might just do that, because that would be just hilarious. I think you guys would love to see it. I'm not sure how I would record it. Oh no, it's PC, so I could record it just fine. But yeah, that's cool. Look it up, either way. I don't have my Kinect with me, so don't wait for my content. Go look for it somewhere else first, because it might be a while before I get around to it. And yeah, so let's move on from there. That's a very goofy game though. Next we'll talk about let's talk about thrown trucks. I think I had yeah, we'll talk about thrown trucks, because that's a very interesting game. That was the first game that I have ever played that has ever integrated any sort of control with your brain, with your mind control, so to speak, but not the kind you're thinking of. They used a device. I did not write down the game, but the people who made this called a crooked tree. And the concept is they originally modded some game to include a device that is this headset that has a little pad here, and I think it also like back here, sort of. It also clips onto your ear for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how it works, but it basically somehow pulls data from your brain to tell what you're thinking, or not what you're thinking, but how you're thinking, I guess, or how your brain, whatever. Stuff that I will probably never be able to understand. And the two particular things which it was able to pull out, or which they say it's able to pull out, and that's included in the game, is your focus and your calm, right? So if you really try hard to focus on the game, your focus meter will go up. But if you sort of pull yourself out from everything and like try to stay calm, like focus on your breathing and whatever and stuff like that, the calm would go up. At least that's what they said, and I can tell you that I tried it, and it looks like they were right. I did my best to try to do that, and it seemed to work for me. You know, maybe it's not horribly accurate, but it worked enough for me to notice the difference when I was trying. It was hard to stay focused and stay calm at the same time, because focus was sort of something that needed to draw you in, and for me, calm was something that I sort of needed to like almost like close my eyes and do. So you kind of had to like, your 2 meters were kind of going up and down. So they originally modded some game. They told me which, I forget what. And so you're kind of walking around in a world of your average game, and you're controlling your thoughts, and if you click while you're controlling your thoughts, it's sort of like through the enemy based on your focus, say, or through whatever you were looking at. And so, you know, people were like, able to thought toss around the little stuff really easily, so everyone just said, oh, I'm gonna go and try a big thing, and we'll try a truck. And so from there they came with the name Throwing Trucks, and that was their game. So you are a little character walking around an arena. It's an important thing to mention that it is PvP. Walking around an arena, your focus and your combo going up based on your thoughts, and you are cycling through your abilities like push, pull, stop, lift was another one. And you are trying to, and each one of those, you know, some of those require more focus, some of those require more calm, and you throwing objects and lots of trucks in the arena, and you're trying to squish your enemies and, you know, lift things and drop them on it, or push things into them, or pull your people into your, all that other stuff. So pretty cool. And like I said, it seemed to work, and of course my first thought was, well, I mean, maybe it works, but something like this that works kind of like that, you probably have to pay like $600 for, you know, might as well buy yourself 7 Oculus Rifts and blah, blah, blah. And I took a peek on their website because I asked the guy how much it costs, or how you get your hands on one, because that's the other thing, is like, how do you get your hands on this brain thing? I mean, it's, you know, not like you're going out to a GameStop to buy this. He says you buy it on our website. I looked it up, and the headset alone is $80, which it's not, it's still a lot of money, but it's not for a PC game, right? You know, you don't want to have to buy add-ons and stuff like that, but it's cheaper than I thought it was going to be. And for the game itself is $25, but you can get both together for $99. So to pay $100 for a game that you control with your brain is pretty cool, if you ask me. I don't think I'm gonna do it, but I would buy this game if there were other games as well that use the headset to justify me buying the headset. Also, one thing I want to look into is like how they made the game part hook into the headset, because if that's feasible, it would be really cool to sort of experiment and see what other games could be made. I mean, just having an accurate reading of the player's focus and calm alone could have some really cool implications in terms of like, focus would increase your damage that you do, and then calm would increase your health regen. So you gotta stay calm so you can regen, but then when it's time to battle, you gotta get focused, right? Something like that. Just ideas, you know, stuff like that is an area that I haven't seen many games in, and it was very, very cool to see. So yeah, look up that game, because it's very cool. Let's see. Let's go back to Assault Android Cactus. Very interesting game. Talk to the developers. I think it's an Australian company, and they seem to have a great game. It's one of those shoot 'em up arcade style games where you're always shooting like lots of bullets, picking up power-ups, fighting off hordes of massive amounts of enemies. It was made in Unity 3D, which I always like to hear because I actually have a decent amount of experience in Unity. So, you know, it's always interesting for me to see people who are professionals who can get a lot out of Unity, whereas I am still, you know, like a student and don't really know how to do too much. How do I get out of here? I haven't the slightest clue how I got in here. It goes this way. Nope, not this way. No. Alright, well, let's wander out of here for a while, and we'll see where it goes. And yeah, so yeah, it was made with Unity 3D. It was made by Witchbeam. They all seemed like very nice developers. I sort of told them about my stream and was sort of like, you know, sort of looking on ways to expand, and this looked right like one of those casual things. It's 4-player, and they were generous enough. I didn't expect them to do this. They're generous enough to give me a key for the game. so I could get the game and play it and stream it, and I almost feel obligated to do so because I said that. I didn't say I would, but I sort of mentioned that this was an option, and the guy said, if you want to expand your horizons, here, take a key. But the game doesn't really seem like you will be getting the most out of it unless you're playing with 4 people, or at least 2 or 3, you know? So that might be something that if I find a streamer or a YouTuber or someone else who's, you know, more around my size, who's also looking to expand, and maybe they have the game, or whatever, or I could give them my key and I could buy it, or they could just buy it and I could use my key to do. But look up the game, because that would be kind of cool. They were nice. I'd like to give them a little bit more publicity. I just don't think that I would do it by myself, because I wouldn't, honestly, I wouldn't have fun, and you guys wouldn't have fun watching, because that's not what the game was meant for. You know, the game was meant for 4 people. How much time we got? Alright, I'm gonna keep going a little bit. Oh, you know, one of these things I'm gonna save till later. Look it up. It's called Games Republic, and get pumped. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't have enough information to tell you now. In like a couple weeks, I should be able to tell you. That also saved time. There's a game called Modulate that looks like it was potentially going somewhere. Another example of some really, really awesome developers. There's actually 2 guys. They're brothers, an artist and a programmer, making games together. And their game is a first-person puzzle game where you kind of toggle between... It's very hard to explain. But it looked good, I'll say that. They had this cool like lighting system going on where like the lighting was pixelated, and they said that that was like a happy mistake that they kind of liked after they made an error. Cool. The game, unfortunately, I don't like saying bad things about the game, but the game unfortunately looked very unfinished, or at least the demo that they showed at PAX didn't have a lot to it. But I think that that's because it's not done yet, and I'm sure that it will be done eventually, and it will look fabulous, and it will play fabulous. So you know, look them up. Let's see. Next, I'll talk about. I don't remember what that game was. Oh, there was a game that was kind of fun that looked. It was called Grey, The Lost Technology. The Lost Technology by Team Aurora. It was cool. It was like a pixel art kind of Zelda style game with some cool combat that was kind of fun. And then the art was nice. It looked like it. I didn't get to play much of it, but it looked like it had a pretty cool storyline as well, from what I could tell. And let's see, is this kind of after? Okay. I'll have to wait for the iron to kind of cook up first. Let's go check on the cows. There was a game called Phlegm, which they said they were kind of inspired by Super Meat Boy. Didn't see too much of a resemblance other than the fact that it is a 2D side-scroller with, you know, sort of like an obstacle course style setting that was supposed to make you rage. And the big difference between Super Meat Boy and this game, though, was that this game looks a lot slower, and that's not a bad thing. It's sort of more like you have to sort of calculate what you're doing. It's less about reaction times and precision, and more about picking up on what move you actually should make. You play. The thing that really grabbed me about it, though, was the plot. It's a very cute plot. You play as a booger from your town Nose, and you live in this happy little town Nose until some horrible event happened that they refer to as the Big Sneeze. And the Big Sneeze is terrible. You know, you got all scattered across the land, so you have to journey back to the town of Nose. Complete your quest back home. But I like that idea. That's a very fun story. And I guess the last game that I have... Oh no. There's a couple more things to mention. We're fine on time. One of them is called Tales of Mythica. It could be good. I'll be honest, one of the things that I didn't really like about it is that the developers who I was talking to, really nice people, yet again, awesome. Way more personable at the indie booths than the big booths, but is that they sort of described it as like they were going for a sort of kind of Skyrim-like game. I don't really like it when people sort of claim to be doing something like something else. It is a first-person fantasy RPG that's going to have lots of quests and character customization and spells and weapons and armor. So it sounds like they are trying to recreate something like Skyrim. To be honest, a lot of people would like more content for Skyrim, you know. So that's kind of what they're giving them, which, you know, good. Seems like it could be a great game. I'm glad. There's a donkey right here. Oh, the house looks good from here. Doesn't it look good? Looks so good. See what I kind of meant by like smaller on bottom, bigger on top? Yeah, looks good. Yeah, but the fact that they kind of admitted that it was like, we're trying to, it's not like they said they were, they did say that they want to distinguish themselves from Skyrim, but they didn't really say how. So, very Skyrim-y, which might be a draw, might be a good thing, might be benefit. Who knows? Then that's pretty much all the games, other than the fact that I played PlayStation All-Stars for the first time. That's a fun game. It was a lot of fun. They had this room, if you've ever been to PAX, they have this room. They have free play rooms for PCs and consoles and handhelds. And so I got to play some next-gen consoles that I had never played before, which was fun. It's just, you just go up there and you say, I want this game for this console on this many controllers, and they give it to you, and they say, go to this room, and there's an Xbox waiting for you, or whatever. And that's what we did. It was fun. Very cool. But, yeah, that was fun. So I played PlayStation All-Stars, fun game. Super Smash Brothers, but for PlayStation, a little different because you're not knocking each other off the map. Another thing that was kind of funny, we'll finish off the episode with this funny little joke, is that they had this thing, and when you go to PAX, they get you this they call it a swag bag, and it's swag in a bag. Pamphlets and ads and coupons and what else did I get? I got like a League of Legends skin. Too bad I don't play League of Legends. Also, there's stuff. A lot of it you don't want, a lot of it you do. Depends on who you are. And, you know, it just comes with some free stuff. And this time there was this big sign out front when we got there, and also in the swag bag, for Pwn Meal. P-W-N Meal. M-E-A-L. Like bone meal, but Pwn Meal. And it said, like, gamer oatmeal, right? And we thought that it was like a joke by some company. I didn't really pay much close attention to it, where they gave you, like, oatmeal for your, I think this is how you do it. Yeah. They give you, like, oatmeal in your swag bag. Hardy har har, right? And there was actually oatmeal in it. I mean, I felt that the package was oatmeal. So some guy came up to me and said, "Hi, you know, all me and my friends." He says, any of you want to trade anything in the swag bag for your Pwn Meal?" And I was like, okay, so someone's collecting up oatmeal, who knows why. Well, and I just said, yeah, I'm not gonna eat mine. You can have it. He said, well, you don't eat it. It's not actually oatmeal. I was like, well, really? No, it's actually Cards Against Humanity cards. Because there's all these people going around asking for oatmeal. I'm like, why would you want oatmeal? It's not... just oatmeal at a convention? What's the part? You know, it's funny. So it ended up being Cards Against Humanity cards, which, if you remember, we played on stream, like Christmas Day or something like that, or Christmas Eve. It's a funny game. I ended up giving it to him anyways, because I don't really play that game too frequently, but it was very funny. And there's this whole, like, thing about everyone going around trying to get each other's oatmeal, and I'm like... And there's like little oats on the ground from the package, because there was actually oatmeal in the packages. I'm like, what? What's with all this? What's all this oatmeal everywhere? Turns out, not oatmeal. Cards against humanity cards. All in all, loved PAX. I wish I got to see more people there. I feel like there were a lot of people who told me they were going Sunday because the Friday and Saturday tickets sold out so quickly. I hope you guys have fun. Had fun if you went there. I hope to see you all next time or next convention. I'm not sure if there's any other conventions I'm going to get to go to. I'd really like to go to VidCon or something like that. Yeah, it was a blast. I hope to be doing it again many more times. Check out all the games I mentioned. I'm actually not going to put links in the description for all these games because that would take me forever. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you went, let me know what you thought. If you saw any cool games, let me know what you thought of the games, or if you want me to like play or stream any of the games from PAX, let me know. Also, if you have any ideas for what to do with some leftover shirts, let me know. I could always just sell them. And yeah, I think that's all I got for today. This is a long episode, but that's fine. And we did finish the windows here. So let's take us a look-see. Whee! So satisfying making that jump every time. Oh, you know what I forgot? Damn it, I don't have Silk Touch either. I guess I'll probably pillar around the outside. I want to put torches on those stairs, those upside down stairs right there. Right there and there. Torches on top of those. Oh well, I'll get to those. But this is our cute little house. I'm going to take down those ladders there. I think the next thing we're going to build is a way through here up. So that should be good. And yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the near future. Eddie out.